How are we? This is Chat UTD and my reaction to last night's win against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Really significant for United, 10 points clear of Chelsea and essentially 10 points clear of the place that we don't want to be in, which is sixth and not qualifying for the Champions League. So Champions League qualification, I think, is all but secure with that win. We've got 6 points out of Villa and Chelsea. And that's not to mention 6 points out of City and Arsenal actually as well. We've got Liverpool, Brentford obviously is the next game, but I said if we could get anything between 5 and 9 points against Villa, Chelsea and Liverpool, then we'd be there, and we've already got 6. I think it's basically a straight shootout now between the three teams, Liverpool, Villa and United, as to who finishes where within 3rd, 4th and 5th, and quite honestly it doesn't really matter, because Champions League football will be secured with a top 5 finish. So it's a really significant win for United, and in the circumstances, a kind of a backs to the walls job, a resilient performance. You know, you look at the back four, or the centre back pairing in particular, to keep a clean sheet, albeit we rode our luck a little bit with Chelsea hitting the bar twice in the second half. It's a good achievement to go there and keep a clean sheet. Thought the team was well set up, well organised. Not particularly good performance in terms of aesthetically on the eye, a pleasing performance, but it was the win that we needed, and it was, as I say, a very significant win. Just to sort of go through the game, Chelsea had the better, I'd say, the first half. Our only real moment was when Mbeumo put a really good pass into the box and Cunha took a really heavy touch when he should have just had a shot. There wasn't really anything else that happened for United. I don't recall. Second half, we got the goal. Great bit of football by Bruno. He used his street smarts really, I think there. He knew that Garnacho wasn't gonna track him properly, so Bruno's not the quickest, but he decided to go for a run down that right hand side. It was a half-hearted chase back by Garnacho. Great ball in by Bruno, and Cunha finishes it. And from there, the game management was really, really good, and we've been in front so many times this season with both Amorim and at times under Carrick, where we've not taken advantage of that, and the team managed that really well. Let's go through player ratings. Lemens, 7, didn't have an awful lot to do, but just his presence, his command, it's his presence. I think that he has the presence of someone that I think inspires confidence of those around him, and you want that in your goalkeeper, and again he showed that last night. Diogo Dalot, 7, really steady performance, seemed really up for it. I think like the rest of the team really seemed to be galvanised by Garnacho's presence on the pitch. Whether there's a little bit of a point to prove there or not, I don't know, but I thought he handled Garnacho really, really well, was aggressive, was strong. So 7 for him. Mazraoui, really steady at centre-back. Again, I'd give him a 7. Not his position, he can play there, but it's not his position. But Mazraoui shows again, as he has done in the time that he's been at United, that he just never lets you down. Very, very steady presence in the team. Can play left back, right back, centre back. If it was a back 3, he could play in there. If it's he has played wing back, although I don't think that's his position. I thought he stepped in and did superbly well. Aiden Heaven, 8. Brilliant from minute 1. Takes the ball really comfortably, very confidently, strides out of defence. So many times he broke the lines and missed out 20-30 yards of the pitch with just a straight ball that was beautifully placed into a forward player. His tackling was strong, was aggressive. Maybe got away with 1 or 2. In the air, he was commanding. The kid is really, really talented. I must say, I've been really impressed with him since he came in. And I don't know what we paid Arsenal for him. I don't think it was a lot. And I don't want to, I've always said this, I don't want to pit Yoro and Heaven against each other, but there definitely is a comparison when you look at their ages. But Yoro came with this big reputation as one of Europe's best young defenders, and Real Madrid wanted him and we paid 50 million quid for him. And to me, he looks very typically like a 20-year-old centre-back who looks like he's got an awful lot to learn. Heaven, at times, maybe a little bit rash. You can see he does still have things to learn, but he is a talented boy. He's been at United a year. I'd play him when he's fit. I think he's brilliant. Really, really good, and was excellent last night. Shaw, 7. Shaw was really, really solid. Didn't do anything wrong. Didn't get forward all that much, but what's new there? I thought he was nice and solid last night. Mainoo, 7. Much, much better than he has been recently. Neat and tidy, kept the ball, moved it around nicely. Nothing spectacular, but did his job. Nice and neat and tidy. Good effort from him. Casemiro, 6.5. I thought he was all right. Nothing really to analyse with Casemiro last night. He was neat. Again, he did his job nice and neat and tidy. He shielded the defence quite well. He was good with anticipation and getting into the right positions. Maybe we should give him a 7 actually. 6.5 feels a bit stingy perhaps, so 7 for him then. Bruno, 7.5. People were kind of like waxing lyrical about Bruno's performance last night. I'm one of his biggest fans. I love him, but I just think that's Bruno. Like, he set the standard so high. I don't think he was any better last night than he normally has been recently. In fact, if anything, I thought it wasn't quite as good a performance. But he's just mint. So I guess if you don't watch him every week, like the commentators probably don't, and they're looking at him in person, and Joe Cole, I think, was doing the post-match stuff with Owen Hargreaves, they're looking at him thinking, oh my God, he's absolutely brilliant. He's brilliant pretty much every week. That's a standard performance from Bruno. I don't think it's an 8 or 9 out of 10. I think it's a 7.5 out of 10. I thought first half he was a bit wasteful. Second half he got better. Covers every blade of grass as he always does. Got the assist pretty much as he always does. Looked our most dangerous player as he always does. Set the standard so high. 7.5. And Mbeumo, I go 6.5 in Mbeumo. He was better than he has been. I thought that pass into Cunha was a really good pass, and I just thought he was a bit more energetic. There seemed to be a bit more life in him. He was a bit more upbeat, and his body language looked better. He looked like a yard sharper, a yard quicker to me, without being brilliant. Šeško, 6. Not because he played terribly badly, and that's the worst score I've given anyone. Just because he wasn't involved in the game really, and not necessarily all his fault. He made a couple of decent runs where he wasn't found, as always seems to happen actually, but just wasn't involved in the game enough really. Cunha, I suppose because he's the match winner, I'll give him a 7. But I scored a lot of players 7 last night. He's probably one of the weaker 7s. Let's put it that way. If we were getting into the minutiae of it, it wasn't his best night. He scored the winning goal, but his decision making when Mbeumo put that ball in was very strange. That's not like Cunha. And I thought he wasn't quite at his best. He was busy. He was always looking for the ball. He was trying to make things happen as he always does. He's not playing in his best position, but I don't think it was a great night last night. He and Mbeumo seemed to have the freedom last night to sort of move around a little bit more. He wasn't a rigid left winger, and Mbeumo wasn't a rigid right winger at times, and Mbeumo was popping up on the left. Cunha was dropping in more centrally. Bruno was dropping deeper. There was a bit of a flow to it all really, but with those 3 that I guess are in behind Šeško in that 4-2-3-1 formation, I'll give him a 7 because he was the match winner. The subs didn't get long enough, so I can't really give any of them a score. So, as I say, a big win, and felt a little bit against the odds actually, because as I said it wasn't really a preview, it was a video about something else, but I included it in that video just before the game kicked off. I uploaded a video and said then it looked on the night like an uphill task when you consider the injuries we had at centre back, and just the fact we played so poorly against Leeds, and maybe the momentum around the team and around the club perhaps isn't what we would want it to be. And the team arrested that and did a really good job last night, and it's a great result. And as I say, I think it pretty much confirms Champions League football all by the shout. And I think you could see that by the response of the players when they went over to the fans at the end. It's a big win. Going to Stamford Bridge isn't easy. I think Chelsea are a poor side. I'm not here to analyse them, but the appointment of Rosenior seems a really strange one. Yeah, that's as poor a Chelsea team as I've seen for a few years. But it's a difficult place to go. We haven't got a good record there, and it's a significant win in itself. So you're going to go over to your supporters on a Saturday evening when they've made the effort to come, and they were fantastic last night, our away fans, as they always are. Our last 2 away games have been Bournemouth on a Friday night and Chelsea on a Saturday night. And they're there in their numbers, making the noise as they always do. They're fantastic. They're a credit to the club. And rightly, the players will go over there and celebrate. But the nature of the celebrations, to me, had elements of, they knew that I think they know they're pretty much there. We're going to need, I think we need one more win, personally. 61 points will do it, which is an incredibly low total to get top 4. It really is. Maybe top 5. But still, it's a low points total. 60 points was what we got under Ten Hag when we finished 8th. You think one more point, one point more than that will get you top 5 this season. And in terms of, there's no agenda here from me against Michael Carrick. I stand by what I've said about the bigger picture. I think the club needs to do their due diligence and interview other managers and properly look at that process as they said they were going to. I don't think Carrick should just automatically get it because it's Champions League football, because I'm not convinced at all, and I'm still not. But it doesn't matter what I think about that. This is a great win, and it depends. I guess it depends how you frame it. I've seen a lot of feedback because I didn't do the reaction obviously straight away as I normally would do. So I sort of like let it sink in a little bit before coming on and doing it today. And I've just watched the City and the Arsenal game, which I'll kind of cover in a minute as well. But it depends the way you frame that game last night. I've seen people sort of saying that was just part of the bus football and we score one on the counter attack. This isn't what we want to be watching. Yeah, maybe, but I honestly think I'd have snapped your hand off for a draw last night and we've won. We've kept a clean sheet with a makeshift centre-back pairing. We've had a young kid come into centre-back and play phenomenally well. Our captain is comfortably the player of the year this year across the whole league and one of the best midfield players in Europe. We haven't played particularly well this season and we're 3rd. So if you frame it like that, if I look back a bit when I was a kid, when I didn't understand the politics around ownership and anything like that, how would I have, I don't mean a kid as in like 5 or 6, I mean a kid who understood the game 11, 12 years old, whatever, when I started to become properly fanatical about United, but before we were winning titles, would I have really cared about Martin Edwards or Michael Knighton or any of those types of people, or the politics around the club? Or would I just look at a result like that on a Saturday evening where I'd probably got to stay up late and have a Chinese takeaway with my mum and dad and watch United beat Chelsea away 1-0 and see the crowd at the end and see the players with the crowd? As a kid, how would I have seen that? I'd have been absolutely on top of the world and thought we could be going somewhere here, because the innocence of a kid's eyes is different. I'm battle weary from being old enough to have seen Sir Alex Ferguson's football, and that's the standards I hold teams to, and maybe I'm wrong to do that, but I am also aware enough to know that you have to look at it through slightly different lenses and say, actually, that's an incredible result. And obviously it's a great win. I am conflicted, I must say. On one hand, I think there's limitations to that sit deep, stay compact, hope for a bit of magic approach, which I think is what we do. And that's not just against Chelsea, that's fine, because it's a big game and it's a big win that we got, and it was an against the odds type of win because of the team that we had to put out there, particularly defensively. On the other hand, so I'm not convinced by that way of playing. But on the other hand, maybe what he's getting out of them, maybe what Carrick's getting out of them, is the best anyone can get out of them. I don't think Nagelsmann comes in and gets his team playing sensational football. As I've said when I've done a review, kind of an analysis of any potential manager for United moving forward. For someone like Nagelsmann to come in and do well, the club's going to have to spend £200-300 million. I don't know, not just every summer. I think they're going to have to spend £200-300 million in the summer. I think you're probably going to have to spend a further 150 in January, and then you do it all over again and all over again and all over again, and give him 3, 4, 5 years to build a team. And that's not going to happen. So in terms of getting the best out of what you've got, Carrick is in the conversation, and he has to be. But I'm torn because, as I said, the standards I think the club should be aiming for is the very, very best. And that brings me, I said I was going to come back to Arsenal and City. I'm not going to analyse the game because no one cares. I just watched it. They're the top 2 in the Premier League. They are not any great shakes. I knew that before watching that game. I've seen United against the 2 teams this season, and I've watched it from afar over the whole season. Why is that relevant? Because there's an opportunity in the next few years, I think, but because of the owners we've got, we won't take that opportunity. There's the standard of the league is not high. If we'd made the right decisions, if we got the right manager, and if we spent enough money on the right players and developed our squad, we're not a million miles away from where we need to be, given the standard of the top 2. You compare the top 2 now to when it was Klopp and Guardiola's teams 4 years ago, let's say, and I used to watch those games between City and Liverpool. Obviously, they were the top 2 at the time, and think they're on a different stratosphere to us. And I don't think that watching those 2 today at all. I don't think either of them are particularly good teams. And we're the next team in the league, which, by the way, is incredible. If that team that we're watching week in, week out is the 3rd best team in England, the standard of this league is poor, really poor. And if English teams are doing really well in Europe, and that might indicate that we have a strong league, European football must be really poor. Football in general, I think, is having a bit of a dip in terms of the quality of it. But that presents you with an opportunity. So if we had owners who were absolutely hell-bent on making United successful again, there's a real opportunity there. But we don't have owners who are hell-bent on making United successful again. So it's not going to happen. It's a shame, because there's definitely a gap there. And I don't think that gap will be there for long. I think teams will naturally improve. The big boys will recruit well. They will be, they'll be better than they've been this season. But anyway, a great win. We have to wait another week and a day now until the next game, because we're on Monday night again against Brentford, which I'll review nearer the time. I'm not, or preview should I say, nearer the time. I'm not convinced we've turned a corner or that we're going to start seeing really good football now. I think we needed to dig out a result. We went and dug out a result, and this team's good at that. Can't take it away though. City, Arsenal, Villa, Chelsea, we've beaten all of them. That's Arsenal, 4 out of the top 5. Top 6. We're the other one, and obviously we've got to play Liverpool. So we're in very good shape to get Champions League football. All the best. Glazers out.